From across the globe, the Unborn Radio is bringing you the sounds you want to hear.
So here we are with Lightning TUMC, Blaine County President. He's going to tell us all about himself and his experience within the club. Lightning TUMC, would you be able to introduce yourself?
Thank you, brother. So, as Mark said, or Ginger said, my name is Lightning TUMC, is my PSN. I've been within the club for almost 6 years now as a patch member. I've been the president of the Blaine County Charter for almost 5 years. I love every minute of it. I'm literally addicted to this club. Anyone that kind of is in the club already knows who I am and what I'm about. And I always look forward to meeting new people, new prospects, new members, and getting the ball rolling there and meeting new friends that way.
You've been in the club for quite some time, obviously 5 years, and you've definitely come up and down the roles from obviously all the way from bottom all the way to the top to the very national president or national vice president. So just on your 5 years as president though, would you be able to tell us how you got there and kind of how you made it your own?
To be honest, bro, I don't necessarily remember a lot about the early days of before I became president, or how it built to being president in a way. And becoming president was never necessarily a goal of mine, or becoming an officer as a whole was never necessarily a goal of mine. For me, a club like the Unborn was just something that I wanted to do, was just riding and being a member and being a part of that brotherhood. My real life brother Dano and a few friends of ours put together our own club a couple of years, about 6 years ago, a little bit over, just when the game came out. And it's funny because when I put the club together, I thought, Jesus, this would be a great idea, you know, and there'll be no other clubs on GTA, would be very original, and anyone that'll see us will think these lads are deadly like. I've always been into motorcycles since I'm a kid, and just MCs in general, I'm just fascinated with them. I've always been, so that was major for me, and I thought, oh, this is going to be deadly. So we did that with about 5 members and a prospect, and we were riding for about 2 weeks, and then I got a message on Social Club off Stan, who was the founder of the Unborn, and he pretty much just told me, we have something bigger here, and we're looking for a patch over club to come and join us. So me and my club voted it, and we patched into the Unborn, and as far as I know, we were the first and we were the only successful patch over. We've had patch overs after that, as you would know. Yeah, that never necessarily worked out. We were the only ones that really ever worked. But then I just became a member, became really friendly with a lot of the other members, and my brother was still around, as he still is now, just not as active as I was, in a sense. His brother-in-law, who was part of our club, brothers, was very active. Crowley, his name was, and a few of the other boys, they kind of fell off. But my first officer's position would have been treasurer, which I wasn't great at, even at the time of being treasurer. Probably wasn't a lot that I had to do back then the way there would be for a treasurer now. And I went from treasurer to on PS3 to the club kind of getting really inactive, and then GTA came out on the PlayStation 4, so I got that for Christmas, and I wasn't planning on getting it, funny enough, because I already had it on the PS3, but Dano bought it for me for Christmas, and me and Dano came over here. I knew Herb was on PS4 at the time, and a couple of other old PS3 members, but the club was doing it on PS3, so I just reached out to Stan and Nick, who would have been the president, national president, the vice president at the time, and I told them, look boys, give me the club, because you aren't doing anything with it really on PS3, and it wasn't their fault. It was just the way that console's way of going, and it was doing
the nature of the beast sort of thing.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. The game was kind of old at the time, it was doing out, and then Stan, who I always praise for being willing to let the club grow, even out of his hands, agreed to give me a charter. He didn't give me the whole club. It's not necessarily what I was looking for, but they continued things on PS3 after that. So he asked me which charter I would like to take over, and Blaine County was me first pick, and I've been here since. The rest is history.
So obviously when you came over, the club you came to now is very different. Do you want to maybe explain some of the changes you brought and some of the changes you've seen over that time?
Yeah, so I'm not saying there was anything wrong with the club when I got here, and I mean no disrespect in what I'm saying. The guys that were in charge at the time did an amazing job to bringing it to what it was, but I just felt like it had so much more potential. So coming to PS4 and becoming the president, the juices start flowing, you know what I mean? The creative juices start flowing, and I was like, just thinking to myself, what more can we do with this that isn't already here? So I brought in little things like always writing formation. Back on PS3 we just had certain days where we wrote formation, and even when we did do that, they were done in like scheduled races, and we would take over a whole road. So we brought in that where we would, like, that was my first rule as far as I remember, where we would always write formation, and that's what we did. So we practiced that a bit, we constantly did that. The officers' roles got a lot more stricter, just something I wanted to have. So instead of just wearing a title and having an office on your cut, you would actually do work that fitted the role of the job you're doing, and you weren't just giving to anyone that's kind of been around. You were
You'd also,
people that earned the
you'd have to earn it a lot more, or be a lot harder to get. Yeah.
You definitely had to earn it. That was definitely a big thing, but you also had to be good at the role. Like for example, you are our treasurer, you're the longest running treasurer we've ever had, and that's for a reason, because you're very good at what you do, you know what I mean? So that was something I brought in, just little things like that. You weren't allowed near the clubhouse without a patch, you had to be wearing it. Anything along the lines of what a real MC would do was pretty much what we started doing. Sticking to main 1% weapons, we kind of did anyway, but we just got a lot more stricter on it. Voting, the prospect one was a big one that I brought in. So before I became president, to become a patch member, all a prospect had to do was have 2 members vouch for them, and you could understand how easy that is. If your 2 friends were in the club and they vouch for you, all of a sudden become a patch member. So I brought in the 2-week period. You had the prospect for at least 2 weeks. You were voted after 2 weeks, and then you were either patched in or you continue prospecting, or you just got to do. So just big things like that. The right information was the big one. The prospect time period was a big one. And I felt like it was better for the club, you know what I mean? I didn't just say, look, I'm the president now, this is what we're doing. We voted it. I explained why I wanted to do this, and everyone agreed, and we voted it, and it became a thing, and it's still a thing to this day. So I'm very happy with that.
So it's sort of like a natural development of how you didn't just come in and say this is what's happening. It just happened because that's the way the club was moving towards, basically.
Absolutely not. But I mean, it was kind of we didn't have too many people that had to vote on it anyways. When I became president, Herb became my VP, and me and Herb just sat down and we were just like, look, this charter, because Blaine County was already a charter when I took over. It just wasn't a great charter. It wasn't active, there was nothing really going on. So me and Herb sat down and we just said, look, let's fucking put together this fucking list of names that of everyone that's in the charter. We'll ride around, we'll see where they're at, where their heads are at, and what they want to do. And if they don't want to be part of this, we'll take the patches. We won't give them any standing, we'll just take the patches and we'll start from scratch. And it's funny because only recently I read George Christie's book. He was the Hells Angel Ventura chapter president, and in his book he talks about him and Jesse, his VP, when they took over Ventura, riding around to all the Hells Angels houses and just telling them, look, we're taking your patch because you're not bothered with the club. And he said how some of them were relieved. And it's funny, we did that before they even read that book, but that's pretty much the same thing. So we ended up narrowing it down to me, Herb, Dano, and then we had and then Herb's brother Special, and then we had 2 other lads come in from there then that became patch members, Connor and Jordan. So there was really only 6 of us, then 1 or 2 came in, maybe there was 7 or 8. So by by the time, just back to the original question, by the time we voted in these new changes, there wasn't a lot of people that had to vote on them. It was 7-8 guys, but it wasn't that easy, of course. Stan was still, or Nick might have actually been the national president at the time, and Stan was national VP after. Stan might have handed it to him. So even though our charter got a pass, I know we still had to go back and run this by the nationals, and they would have to discuss it, and then they would either give us a pass or a decline. But I think they realised it was definitely for the best, and that all passed, and that's still to this day what we use. Same structure, same way of thinking. So
but you touch on national presidents, national vice presidents there, obviously Stan, Nick and so on, and you stepped into national vice president. Under that reign, how did you feel in that position? Was everything kind of passed up to the national president, or did you have much say as national VP, or how did that entail?
It wasn't a great thing, to be honest, if I'm being 100% honest with you. I mean, Nick, he was on PS3, they weren't doing a lot, so he didn't necessarily have to put in a lot of work to help the club grow. To the new era is what I would kind of call it. So him being national president, Stan was national VP, he stepped down, and then he made me national VP, as I was the only other charter's president. But then it was just a thing of, if someone really wanted to make a decision, we would get final say on, and I didn't like that, because why should two people get final say of what a whole club or a whole charter gets to do? So although he was made national VP, it wasn't something I ever really wanted to do, and as you would probably know, and Herb and Con, some of the older lads would know, I never made a lot of decisions under my national VP role. In a sense. Yeah. I always made it under the president of Blaine County, and that's the way I'd always carry myself. He had some patches made where it was national president patches and national VP patches, and I never wore that. I only ever wore the Blaine County president patch. So that was something I was never a fan of. And to be honest, like then when he came in from PS3 to PS4, and he started naming his charter Mother Charter, which was just another one of them things. Because he was national president, his charter had to be Mother Charter, although our charter was around longer and was the Mother Charter. He was all of a sudden able to say, oh well, I'm national president, so it only makes sense of my charter to Mother Charter. So little things like that, it just didn't make any sense to me. And a council was always something that I wanted to do, where you had a bigger group and a bigger voice, and more than one or two voices to decide the final say in the club. And as far as I remember, it was you that pushed Nick to change from nationals to council, to having a council.
Yeah, I was VP for about 2 minutes and I started going at that one. I don't know why I did.
But I mean, it was definitely for the better of the club, and even to this day, having a council, the council members know, like, and a lot of patch members know, we don't make decisions as council members. It's literally just a safety net if anything was to fall into place that we all feel is wrong for the club. So nothing is ever run through there just to suit anyone that's in the council, or to suit a certain charter that the council favours, or not that they do, I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, completely. It's more of like an overlook. They don't take any actions, but it just, if anything ever does need to be done, the council.
Exactly. And we have council church, like we have charter church and club church, but it wouldn't be that often. It would be every couple of months, and it's literally just to kind of figure out ways of making the club better again, or keeping it good, or how it is, making sure members are happy and stuff like that, you know. We never go in there to say, oh, this is what we want to do and this benefits us, so that's what we're going to do from here on. That was never the case. It was never the plan to be the case. So that's really all that's about, and that's why I never was a fan of the national VP thing, because I just didn't think it made any sense, and it wasn't fair to the other members, especially members that are putting a graft in and putting in work to make this thing better, and then they can't, just because of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, completely. You've been here for obviously quite some time, and between your time as an officer and as a president, what do you think has been the toughest call you've had to make?
I don't know, man. Obviously, taking patches is never easy, but it's never done for nothing. You know what I mean? Maybe the toughest call would probably be. I won't mention names. It's happened to me on 2 occasions where a patch member shot another patch member, which results in a mayhem vote. So when a mayhem vote goes ahead, it usually means if it's voted that shot the other member will be killed and stripped from this patch. If it's not voted no, he won't be, but he'll be punished in other ways, but he'll keep his patch. And the first time it happened, the member that we voted on was voted no, but he lost his officer's position. So that was very hard for me to do because he was very, very, very close to me at the time, and he still is. Don't get me wrong, but just it was at the time we were so close to and we were a great team, but I just had to go with how the club runs. You know what I mean? And make a decision on what's best for the club and how the club should be viewed as a whole, and not a biased opinion because he was my friend. So that was definitely one. And then the second one was, it came to a point where the mayhem vote passed and we had to kill the member, and no one wanted to pull the trigger, so I did it, and it wasn't something I wanted to do, but I had to do it because that's just what happens. It's how you learn to be a leader. You know what I mean? Going through the shit that hurts the most, and doing stuff that no one else wants to do, and you have to do it. So, they were definitely the 2 hardest times. Then obviously times when your closest brothers have to leave the club due to real life issues or issues out of their control, like if they have to move the house and there's no internet there, and that has happened to us many a times. Like anyone that knows Convict is my best friend in the club. We were very close since the day we met, so the time when he had to step down as VP and move to another house and he wasn't able to play with us anymore, well, I know he's back now, but that went on for about 2 years, and like my girlfriend even knows how hard that was, you know, because he was, as I say, he was my best friend, so that was a big one.
So obviously there was a lot of tough calls present. You were saying earlier on how you discovered the club. Basically, Stan hit you up on Social Club. When Stan hit you up, what was your initial reaction? Did you do a lot of research, or how did it go about? How long was the wait before you initially decided to patch over? How did that go about?
We didn't do a lot of research. We didn't have the website like the one we have now, the unbornmc.com website that we have now. We had a Weebly, which is like a free site that you can use to make anything really. So I might have checked a few things, but if you remember, like the club wasn't really that big back then, so there wasn't a lot to see or a lot to check. You know what I mean? There wasn't a lot of great photos to see the way you have now, and trying to see how it's run.
Yeah.
There was rules on there. There was a couple of photos, a little description, but there wasn't a lot. And then, like I explained earlier on, the club that I had founded was just me and my mates. So like we didn't have like group me or anything like that. We were out in our flats one day where we live, and we were sitting on a wall, and we just spoke about it. And we had a legit vote there and then. And then we decided to patch in within about 24 hours, I'd say. It wasn't much of a long wait. It wasn't a rushed vote, but it wasn't a long wait either.
Yeah.
But it was a no-brainer. If you get the full experience of being in the club when you're not just you and your mates, you know what I mean? You're meeting people from other part of the world and stuff like that, so it was a no-brainer, and we made the move straight away. And like I was, from day one, I was fascinated, loved it, and like certain days, like I'd be out doing whatever, I couldn't wait to get home to get in and play. You know what I mean? It was to meet more club members and stuff. And like I explained earlier on, a lot of my friends that came in with me fell off and they're not really here anymore, but for me I was just fascinated with it. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah, definitely. Where do you see the future of the club going?
wherever it wants. I think we can do major things. Like it's amazing. You think about it, like a club that one man in the Netherlands found with him and a friend of his, or you know what I mean, the first four, and then to what it is today. You're meeting people from all over the world. You're speaking to these people every single day, if not every second day.
Yeah, we've people from literally everywhere. Australia, like America, Ireland, England, yeah.
Everywhere, the Netherlands, everywhere. Like, I'm currently planning a trip for members that aren't from the same country to be able to meet each other. We're going to rent out a cabin for a week or whatever it is, a couple of days, and we're all going to meet there and have a good time. I mean, that is top quality. You never. Like, I talk to the members of this club more times in a week than I probably talk to my real life friends or my mass in a week.
Yeah, well, like, it is true. Like, it's kind of like that thing of, it's more than a number, you know. It's more than ones and zeros on the screen. Like, you have to understand there's a whole relation going behind that, and there's, you bond with people. Over the years, you do bond with people, and it's not just a virtual character on the screen. It's everything behind it. It's personalities. It's how people get on, and it's a whole chemistry.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, look at Con. We spoke about Con earlier. Like that, like him having to move away from the club crushed me. I don't know if he knows this, but when that happened, I got a message to his girlfriend on Facebook, and I bought him a gift. It was just a VP pack because he was my VP for ages. And I got his new dress and stuff like that because I knew it was how much it was killing him as well, and I sent it to him. I don't think he ever received it because he never mentioned it, but I think I may have asked his girlfriend if they received it, and they didn't, but I don't think they ever received it, unfortunately. It was just a VP patch, and it was just something small to show kind of what he meant to me, and how close we once were, you know what I mean. And I think for the club, to start a club on again, and to meet someone like that, like we speak almost every day, you know, he knows all the ins and outs of my life, I know all the ins and outs of his life, so I just think when you look at the club like that, and where it's started off to where it is now, and the friendships and brotherhood and camaraderie that comes with it, then the club can go anywhere it wants in terms of having a future, you know what I mean. Because that was the original question, was where I see the future, but it can go
exactly.
wherever it wants.
Yeah,
so yeah. Camaraderie and brotherhood stays there. There's nothing that can stop that from happening. You know what I mean? Going from it, we can go. I mean, anything.
And it's possible kind of thing.
Bama and Chris are selling merchandise, hoodies, t-shirts. I've created action figures. You know what I mean? We have molds. We have kids dressing up as our characters on Halloween. Like my son, about 3 years ago, was out playing on his bike, his push bike, when he was about 5, and he said to me, "Dad, I'm Herb T." that says something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, completely.
5-year-old son at the time to be playing out on his bike and he's calling himself Herb T. He didn't call himself Lightning TUMC, he called himself Herb T. So,
yeah, no, completely. Like, everyone has their own thing they bring to the table, and obviously people look up to each other, and yeah, as you said, ultimately that's the goal. Once we're all here as a brotherhood, we're just going to keep going forward.
Absolutely. That has to stay in place, you know what I mean? It's so important. Respecting each other and trusting each other, and
that definitely is a key thing.
You know what I mean? Because the charters are individual charters, but the charter represents the club as a whole.
Yeah.
So having that trust in other charters, and them having that trust in you, and having your brothers' backs, and just everything that comes with it.
Completely. So you've been here for quite a while. If I was to ask you how many hits you did on the club, would you be able to say? As in, would that be organised or just wars with other clubs? Or what? No, like organised. Yeah.
organised many. No, I genuinely couldn't tell you. I mean, probably where I pulled the trigger personally, or
where you pull it personally.
I've probably only done about 5 club hits.
Right.
For the club. 2 or 3 of them were for members that did bad. And again, it came down to they just had friends within the club, but their friends accepted that they did bad for the club and knew they had to be mayhem and voted for mayhem, but didn't want to do it themselves, so we did it. And that's how we got me and Holy One's patch. Actually, if you kill a member of the club for doing bad, you earn that. So we got that 3 times in a sense. I know you only earn it once, but I mean, and then 1 or 2 might have been for enemies of the club that I might have pretended to call a truce with, or you know what I mean, something like that, some sort of meeting to move forward, and then we would ambush them. And a lot of that happened on PS3 more than it did on PS4, because there was a lot more clubs on PS3.
Yeah, completely.
Riding around and we're doing that, and it was new to everybody, so there was a lot of egos flowing around, you know what I mean. Everyone thought they were a big club. That club was a big club, this club was a big club.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of egos going around, so we had a lot of wars with lots of other clubs, and we had we put out many hits on different presidents and VPs and stuff like that.
Do you remember your first hit?
No, I don't remember. I remember around the timing of it, but I don't remember who it was or what it was for.
Yeah.
It might have been. I do actually remember. I think this was my first one. I'm not 100%, but I think this was my first one. It was the first time we got the Beast actually. He was the co-founder with Sam. It was back on PS3. Me, a guy called Crash Wardock. He had 2 names, which one of the first 4. It was me, him, Dano, 2 or 3 maybe other members, and they wanted to meet with our club to move forward and pass the war that we were having, because we had a war going on for a while. And we met in the lumberjack yard, and Wardock might have been the VP at the time of the Sergeant Arms. He was definitely the highest ranking member in this session, so he did talking, and he said what he had to say, and then he pulled the trigger on the Beast himself, and then we killed this club, and then they instantly left the session right as we got all of them killed, and his bike stayed in the session. So back then we didn't have social club editor or nothing like that, so we didn't get a photo of it, but we got a photo of his blown up bike after he left the session. He blew his bike up, we took a photo of that, and then that just continued the war. But the Beast himself we never actually seen again up until the time that we did the recent hit, which you were there on part of, so you know about that.
Yeah, obviously that wasn't. Yeah, he kind of went under the radar for a little bit. He kind of went maybe about 2 years under the radar, 3 years maybe.
Long
yeah,
time, because he was on PS3, so no one knew that he had made the switch to PS4, and then he eventually did. We got word of it, so I was friends with a guy called Ben, who was the VP of another club that we were friendly with. Ben actually eventually became an Unborn member, but before that he was messaging me back and forth about how the Beast he knows the Beast in real life and stuff like that. So as a club respect thing and a friendly thing, we asked him could he try getting into a session, and we could tell him that we were looking to put things behind us and stuff like that, which wasn't the case. But we got him into the session anyway. I think we rolled up with about 16 members. The other club rolled up with 2 or 3, and then the Beast came on his own because he fucking betrayed all his friends, so he didn't have any. I just remember Machine was my VP. Was my Sergeant at Arms at the time, and I was obviously president of Blaine County. So I told Machine, you need to stay close to me, because this is the chap that'll try something funny, you know. So I kept telling Machine, get close to me and get close to Stan, because Stan was obviously a club founder. So I was telling Machine, you need to get close to Stan, because if he's going to pull the trigger on anyone, it's going to be Stan or me, just because I'm the president, you know.
Yeah.
Sneak you chop off the head. So I told him get in close, and machine, being the great Sergeant Arms that he was, and he was quality with an AR. He got real close to Stan. I think he might have been like, if you look back on the video, he might have been just a step in front of me, and just to stand to the left, where the point where if the Beast had to pull the trigger quick or pull the gun quick, the machine would have got him with the click of a finger, because that's how quick he was. So that's the way we went about it. We didn't try out stupid, but then Stan just said what he had to say and pulled the trigger himself. And that, funny enough, after everything that had happened, that was Stan's first time to ever get kill on him, because he never got seen to try after that, you know.
We were talking about earlier on how you're always involved and always interested in the MC community, and you've read books and you've always been interested from basically your childhood. So what kind of sparked that interest?
It's funny, I don't know if you remember it, but one year when I was young, well, it wasn't that young, I might have been about 12, 13, 14 maybe max, 14 max, and I got a laptop for Christmas. So it was at like a time in my life when I stopped playing with toys and I was starting to kind of play more on laptops and stuff like that. So I got a laptop for Christmas, and there was this app or whatever you could download on it called Rail Player or something like that, and pretty much what you could do was save videos from YouTube onto your laptop, and then you didn't need any Wi-Fi or anything like that to play them. So I got this Rail Player, and then I was on YouTube looking for different things to find, and I came across the Outlaws MC documentary on YouTube. It was about 45 minutes long. It might have been a Gangland episode or something like that, but it was the Outlaws Club video. So I downloaded that, and then I lay in bed and I watched it. And I remember literally when it came to an end, and the second it came to an end, I started it again and I watched it. But I was just in awe, like the bikes riding formation, the cuts, the patches, the tattoos, the camaraderie, the planning, you know what I mean, how organised they were. And my best friend in real life, before he was running the club and stuff like that, obviously I was young, lives like 3 doors away from me. So the next day we were up, it might have been summertime or whatever, it was Christmas holidays and it was in or whatever, and we went to school, and I told him, you need to see this. So he came in, I just remember sitting on my kitchen table, and I was already after watching Twice the night before, and just sitting on my kitchen table and saying, check this out, and opening up the laptop, and the two of us sat there and watched it again, and the two of us were just like, holy shit. He kind of never really embraced or fell in love with it after that himself. It was kind of just a once, and he thought it was cool and stuff like that, but I just thought, Jesus man, look, these are amazing. And then so I just went on from there, watching different documentaries, different films about club life, reading books. And then when GTA came out, they introduced this social club thing where you could create a crew, and you could have a crew colour and a crew emblem. And I was like, we're gonna create an MC, and that's what we're gonna do. So we did that, and like I said before, we thought we were gonna be original with it, but it wasn't the case.
Yeah. You were saying obviously you read a lot of books and you've seen a lot of documentaries. In the real life community, who would be your absolute inspiration amongst all the MC community?
Definitely Sonny Barger, for obvious reasons. It's funny because Barger wasn't the founder of the Hells Angels, but he's definitely the figurehead, and he definitely brought a lot of changes to the club that were for the better. Like the larger Barger, which was when they started, they had a really small centerpiece, and he introduced this much larger centerpiece, the Death Head, the Hells Angels Death Head, to his charter, which was the Oakland charter. And it's funny because the Frisco charter and some of the other charters didn't like it, and they kept the smaller one, but eventually became a club rule where you had to change the Death Head from the smaller one to the big one, and it's the same one that they actually use today, with a little few modifications. But he called that the larger Barger. But within our club, I kind of see little bits of myself in him, or little bits of him and myself. I don't mean that as an egotistical way, but I just mean in a sense that he was able to bring, he wasn't the founder, but when he took over he was able to bring in these changes that were better for the club, the same way I was able to bring in these changes that were better for the club. Of course with help with guys like Herb and Special and Dano and stuff like that were there from the start and helped me push for these changes. We were able to do that, so he'd definitely be one of them. Terry the Tramp, who was another angel, was mad, like just cool, like definition of a cool biker was Terry the Tramp. I don't know, you know girls' tattoos, the tramp stamps?
Yes.
Apparently they came from him, because when he was banging them, Doug used to use to tattoo his name just over their arse. So the tramp stamp came from. Then you've obviously got guys like George Christie, who you understand a lot in a way, because he became the president of the Ventura, first the Los Angeles char, and he changed to Ventura. But a lot of the stuff he was trying to do kind of kept getting shut down. Not shut down, but was going to looked upon by Sonny and some of the bigger members. So I kind of felt his experience with Sonny was similar to some of the stuff I also had to go through with Nick. So some of the stuff I tried to push, like you said earlier, I was the national VP, but it didn't really mean much because the national president wasn't helping me to move things forward or give me the go ahead when I thought this might be better for the club. So I kind of see things like that. So so guys like Bart, Sonny, Terry, Tramp, so George Christie. It's funny, I actually speak to George Christie on Instagram and Twitter, and he replies to everything I speak to him about, and I'll probably message him probably once a week, once every 2 weeks. We'll have a little conversation back and forth for a while, and that'll be it, and then I'll message him again a couple of weeks, and if I have any questions he answers them for me. He gives advice. I messaged him before about advice on what he could give me about being a good president, and he gave me some advice which was, it's mind boggling, you know what I mean? Then other clubs, like obviously if Taco, Harry Bowman, the Outlaws, he'd be a major player. So anyone that was kind of had a name and was influential within the club, I always kind of looked up to and respected in a way, you know. They all have their own reasons, and some of them, like I said, hit home at me being part of this club and the different things I had to go through within the history of the club. So that was always funny. I always found it real funny that I could relate to some of the stuff. Obviously theirs comes in real life and with bigger things. The Hells Angels is a massive club, the biggest in the world. So then ours is on a video game, but it's still a similar situation. You know, so
it's relatable, like.
Exactly.
Obviously, so they rock the 1%, but we also have our own kind of 1% rules as well. In your opinion, what's the thoughts on the whole free aim versus auto aim or assisted aim, and the true 1% aspect of the community?
Pisses me off, bro, and I'll tell you why. When we were on PS3, we were free aim. We were a free aim club. We started off as an auto aim club, and then this whole free aim came in, and we became a free aim club. And the funny thing is, how the clubs became free aim within GTA was because riding your bike was an issue in lobbies, in an auto aim lobby. Because if you ride your bike past someone, they can lock onto you and they'll kill you. Whereas if you're riding your bike in a free aim lobby, it's harder for them to do that. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So a lot of clubs switched over because of that, and we were one of them. Then it became a thing where clubs, like I said before, there was a lot of egos back then. So clubs started fighting each other, but they had egos. And what pissed a lot of people off was when clubs would use RPGs or stuff like that to get easy kills. So agreement went out throughout the community that we would just use ARs, and everyone did that. People that weren't rocking 1% did it. People that were rocking 1% diamonds did it. So it was most clubs. There was still a few that didn't care and did their own thing. But then the MC community over there on free aim became literally about fighting and scorecards. So you weren't the best club on GTA if your whole club had knowledge about an MC and knew everything about it. you were the best club in GTA if your club was the best shooters but didn't even know what MC stood for. And that stuff just pissed me off. And it pissed a lot of members off. And our club was starting to go in that direction where they would, the club was starting to focus on TDMs and fights and fighting other clubs instead of brotherhood, camaraderie, riding. You know what I mean? What club is supposed to be about. So we decided as a club, as a whole, to switch back over to auto weighing, to focus more on the brotherhood and the love of riding and stuff like that once again. So that's what we did, and we were wearing the 1% diamond when we were in free aim, and we weren't going to take it off just because we were moving back over to auto aim, because we still stuck to the rules in terms of weapons and stuff like that. But we decide what aim preference we use. We don't let these other clubs decide. Like that rule was just taught up by one fella that just said one day, only free aim clubs are 1%ers, and then all of a sudden people start following it, which is actually the opposite to what a 1%er is. You know what I mean? A 1%er is someone that abides by
disobeys rules. Yeah. They do their own rules. Yeah.
So the 1%er, or the free aim 1%ers who are claiming what 1% is, are actually doing the opposite to what a 1%er is, because they're doing what they're told to do. We're us, as in the Unborn MC, are doing whatever the fuck we want to do. We're not going to let anyone tell us that we can and can't wear the 1% diamond because of what aim preference we use. I mean, not every club in free aim, but some of them, the members probably don't even know what Sergeant Arms is. You know what I mean? Because all they're doing is recruiting people that can fire an AR.
Yeah.
So it annoys me, it pisses me off, because these people probably, you know, you watch a couple of episodes of Sons of Anarchy, and I'm not dissing that, I love the show as well myself, it's one of my favourite shows, but these are people that just watch a couple of episodes of Sons of Anarchy and think they know everything about clubs, and they've never read a book or never looked into how a club runs, or, you know what I mean, anything like that.
Completely, yeah.
It does, and it pisses me off.
I mean, I know myself, when I come in I didn't know a whole lot, but it's funny, you learn quite a lot within this club, particularly anyways. I mean, so I didn't watch Sons of Anarchy when everyone else was watching when it was the big trend. I actually watched it very much after, but it's very similarly ran, and it's very, you take a lot from it, and it's, from what I can see, is one of the few clubs on GTA that are genuinely run. I mean, obviously there is clubs out there, but there's a lot of pop-up clubs, and that's what was my next question, is how do you feel with these pop-up clubs? Obviously they're probably there for about 2 weeks and they're shut down, and it's on to the next one, we obviously have many members that like jump from club to club, but do you think, they should be all given a chance, like, you should support them, like saying, yes, we should support new clubs and everyone has to go out from somewhere, or do you think we should go, nah, fuck that, they don't know what's happening?
The weird one, really, because see, obviously in the earlier days pop-up clubs are going to last, or it's easier to last, because GTA as a whole and the MC community as a whole was more active, because the game is new, it's exciting, so pop-up clubs might come up, and then they're offering, some of them are offering patches and officer spots to people that they don't even know, to try build their club. And for me, that's ego. If you want to be part of something big and part of the club, do some research, find a club that's big and has a great rep, and join it. Do a prospect time, earn your patch. Someday you might make office, and if you do, you do, and if you don't, you don't. But you're a brother for life, and you're in a good club, and you have that camaraderie, you have that experience. But a lot of people don't want that. They just want to be president, or they want to be in office somewhere, and so that they're joining these pop-up clubs because that's easier for them to do. And like I said, years ago that might have worked. It didn't make the club good, but it might have worked in a way of it's still going. But nowadays, I mean, and it's funny because we were only at war with a club not too long ago that was a pop-up club, and I told them, I said, I'm going to give you 2 months and they're going to be gone. And I think within 4 weeks, 5 weeks max, if even, they were gone. Because it's just, pop-up clubs nowadays isn't going to work, because it's 6 years into the game, 7 years into the game, wherever it is, and everything has been done. So you can't, when you make a new club, you can't make it exciting, you can't make it new, you can't make it different, because everything
it's been done.
has already after doing that for 7 years before.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And for anyone that's coming into the game and or has been around the game for a while has seen that, and anyone that's only coming into the game don't understand how the MC community is going to work right away, and that's their first experience of it, and it's a bad experience, so it's not going to work.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So if you had to say, what members influenced you the most?
Influence. Not really. Herb T, absolutely. Just a absolute brother. Can't fault him in any way. Just always there for the club. Always comes in with an honest mindset, an open mindset. Admits when his mind has changed, or if he's wrong in a situation, he'll admit it. Loyal to the absolute core. Just a genuine brother. Definitely Herb T for that. Convict for his love for the club, his love for members, always trying to be the good guy, and always thinking about other people's feelings and how they might feel. Sometimes that's not the best thing, sometimes not the worst thing either, you know what I mean? So having someone like that members can reach out to, lay their head on the shoulder and say, look man, I'm having a hard time, and he's always there for that, you know what I mean? He's always has his ears open. Bama for his hardness, his how he thinks. He's always thinking outside the box in a way, you know what I mean? And he's coming up with these ideas constantly that may help change the club or better the club, or and he'll take no shit. I mean, he won't be a dickhead about things, but he won't take shit off you either. And I love people like that, because they'll be open-minded about things, but they're not gonna take a shit. If you disrespect him, he's gonna tell you you're disrespecting him and gonna put his foot in your arse. You know what I mean? Sharkman is definitely a big one, and I'm not gonna get into detail about it. If you want to ask Shark, because I don't want to disrespect other members, but if you want to ask Shark about why I look up to him, just things like Sharkman wanted to be in a certain situation many times that he could have been in and didn't, because he needed to be in another situation, because that situation needed him more than he needed them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So he didn't follow his own heart, he followed what he was needed for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he thought about other people around him, he thought about the club as a whole. So he stood his ground, and he went that way with it, in a sense, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to explain. Hayes a monster. Thatch, you, absolutely you. I mean, the things you do for this club, I've never once seen anyone doing so much for the club than you have done. Whether it's designing stuff, endless hours of trying to think of new things to do, the patch making, looking after other people, helping other charities when you didn't have to, even charities that we weren't on good terms with before, you were always willing to help them out when they needed you, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stan would be an absolute big one, because of his I don't know how to explain this.
He has a good charismatic leadership. There you go.
His way of letting the club grow. A lot of clubs on GTA that start up, the founder will be the president. When he doesn't want to, a lot of other members will put effort into it, and then when he doesn't want to play the game anymore, he'll shut the club down, and it's not fair on anybody else.
Yeah. There's either their club or no club. Yeah.
Exactly. And Stan was the opposite to that, because he did a great job on building it. Then when he didn't think he could do it anymore, he handed it to Nick. Then he had another chance of doing it. He was doing it for a while, he couldn't do it anymore due to work or whatever, he handed it to somebody else. And he constantly let new presidents come in and new people come in to help build the club and to keep it running. Why shut it down? needs to be to run it, then he can be part of it and let someone else run it. And that's why I came up with the idea of making him general, and then I brought that to council and we voted that in, because I think he absolutely deserves that, you know what I mean?
Completely, yeah.
Just, they would be the main people, and then anyone that really puts a patch on and earned it, and put the effort in to earn the patch, and then is constantly respecting the patch and wearing the pride. So the club as a whole, Danny, I know sometimes we can get a little bit frustrated with Danny, but he's loyal to the bone. You know what I mean? His willingness to, I know you can look at whatever you want, but he'll do. A lot of the times he'll do what's best for the club. Sometimes, look, all of us, we can do things that might be mistakes, but he's always willing to go, no, this is what we need for the club, you know what I mean? And if you're going to disrespect the club, this is what I'm going to do. And he, you know, stuff like that. They're just the main, the ones that have influenced me, kind of from then until now. And then there's other people that we know, if the time comes when I step down, when they step up, they will influence me. Look at Hayes, for example. His knowledge for clubs and MCs as a whole is second to none. The man is so fucking smart when it comes to this type of shit. I can sit down, we get into a party, and me and Hayes will start talking about whatever, and sometimes we'll just sit there and listen to him, because his knowledge is just through the roof, man. He has the head for it, the drive for it, you know what I mean? The what's the word I'm looking for?
Passion.
The maturity, passion.
Yeah.
So I just, someday, whether it's Blaine County or another charter, that man is going to be president of a charter, and he's going to just take it to new heights. I know he is. His knowledge is just through the roof.
Yeah.
Just like that, I can see people that are going to influence me after I step. I'm not here as long anymore, or you know, I'm not from the club. You know what I mean?
He is very, very knowledgeable.
Makes me excited.
If obviously there's a lot of new members coming in, and they come in now all the time. Strong real basis to go on that. But if you had to tell new members one thing, what would it be?
Bide their time. Don't rush anything. Don't make decisions right away. Think about them. Don't enjoy. I tell them to enjoy it. You know what I mean? So if you become a prospect, enjoy that time as prospect. Use it to learn. Pick up the knowledge and how the club runs. Because when you have that all as a whole, and then you become a patch member, you don't stop learning. Then you can bring that on board as a patch. You can learn even bigger and better techniques again, because now you're in the inner circle and you're open to a little bit more. So you never stop learning. Even me, I've been president for almost 5 years, and I still learn to this day. I never stop learning. Guys, prospects, you learn from prospects, you learn from new patch members, you learn from office, you learn from other presidents. So constantly be open-minded, be willing to learn, and to not rush anything. Don't rush into office. Learn the respect of the members, learn who you are, learn who they are, who your friends are going to be. They're all going to be your friends, but you're going to obviously be closer to some people. Embrace that. Just embrace the club. I don't really know. I just tell them these things. Yeah, I'd never even thought about that.
No, that's fair. That's fair. So for the last question, what do you think separates us as a club to other clubs?
The brotherhood, the camaraderie, the respect that we get within our club and within our MC community. We definitely get on each other's nerves sometimes. It happens, you know what I mean? It happens in everyday life, with family, with friends. But we always have each other's back, no matter what. We can tell each other to fuck off. We can call each other names. As soon as someone that's doing it from the outside of the club does it, we're all together as one, and that shit takes a step back. So think that separates us, our brotherhood. And there is other clubs out there that do that, and might do it a little bit more than we do, a little bit less than we do. Obviously, we're not going to see that from where we are, but I see us doing it on a bigger scale. You know what I mean? How we ride, our rules, our office, how we pick office, stuff like that. I think it just completely separates us.
Yeah, completely.
Our realism.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's been good chat. I have to give you that. It's been actually, I think, the longest. I think it's longer than stands. It's been good. It's been good.
Sorry, I'm babbling on too much, am I?
No, not at all. I actually really enjoyed it. Got a lot of information I didn't even know. So I enjoyed that actually a lot.
Definitely, man. I enjoyed it too. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. No
worries. If you're looking to join the club, you can go on to unbornmc.com, or you can also find out some merch there as well, and also lots more information about the club. Until next time, bye for now.
If you're looking for an MC, please check out www.theunbornmc.com for more information.